back fishes. Okay, so now we're gonna rig the Banjo Minnow, and in your kit, you get this pamphlet, and inside the pamphlet shows you exactly everything you need to know and everything you need to do to rig the Banjo Minnow. Chances are gonna take us through doing it live.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So rigging the banjo is very simple. You have 5 main components, and you start with the hook. What you're gonna do first is you're gonna take your black O-ring. The easiest way to pick up the O-ring is to push your finger down on a flat surface and it'll stick right to the top of your finger.
So that's a great way to do it because especially when you're on a boat, it's just so much easier to put it on that way.
Yes. So you have the first O-ring on your hook, and you're gonna take your minnow anchor and you're gonna slide it right over the tip of the hook. So it's just hanging there. You'll notice that the first O-ring you put on is gonna kind of catch it and keep it from moving around too much.
Holds
and that's
it
what
in
you
that
want.
spot.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Go ahead and take your second O-ring on your finger, just like the first one, and put it right over the tip of the hook. So now you have your minnow anchor secure.
Right.
Right where you want it. You want it to hang right below the first curve of the hook. And what I've found in the past too is I'll take a pair of needle nose pliers sometimes and give the eyelet of the anchor just a slight squeeze to help secure it where you want it.
Yep.
And that'll help from backlashing and anything else.
Right.
So now that you have the anchor secured on the hook, we're going to go ahead and put the minnow on the anchor.
Okay.
Very simple process. What I like to do is I like to gently squeeze the head of the minnow.
Right between the eyes.
Right where the eyes are, yeah.
Right.
And that helps a couple things. As you screw in the anchor, one important aspect of that is to make sure that the corkscrew part of the anchor is centered in the head of the minnow. That'll give it the action you need. And so basically when you're gonna start screwing in the anchor into the front of it, just go ahead and try to line up the circular shape of the corkscrew to the center of that circular blunted nose on the minnow.
Stop for a second. Now see how the shaft is out a little bit. Now Chance is going to put that through the minnow even more, which creates it even more secure in the bait. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's a cool innovation that we've done.
Yeah, so now that we have the anchor all the way in the head of the minnow, we're rigged up. This is ready to fish. All you need to do is tie it on.
Now think about it. When you're fishing with a real minnow or a shad or an anchovy in saltwater, you normally would put it right through the nose, right?
Right.
That's exactly the concept here.
Yeah, mimicking a real bait fish.
Right.
And that's what is so special about the Banjo Minnow, is the way we have the hook set up in the front of the fish. You get all of the lifelike action that you want out of the bait. A lot of times we like to fish in those hard to reach places, and that's why we've supplied you guys with the Banjo weed guard. And once you have the weed guard on the eyelet of the hook, go ahead and squeeze the weed guard so that you have just a small loop hanging out the end of it. And go ahead and just stretch it right over the tip of the hook, and it'll catch right on the barb. Now you're ready to go fish through the weeds, on tules, over trees. It's not going to get caught
Lily
up.
pads.
Exactly. And one thing I want to note at this time too is you can obviously fish this hook out in front of the minnow any way you want. My favorite way is with this hook flat. Instead of being perfectly up and down in line with the minnow, which again is a good way to fish it.
That's the way I fish it.
Yeah, you could do both ways. And it changes the action. It gives you more variety of action. So one thing that you can do is with the weed guard in line, you can run your finger right over the top of it, and you'll notice that you do not feel a point on that. That's how you know that you are fully weedless. Sometimes that hook might, become a little bit less bent or just tweaked a little bit. Go ahead and take your needle nose pliers and bend it just a little bit and run your finger over. As long as you don't feel that tip of the hook, and trust me, the hook is sharp. You will feel that. As long as you don't feel it, you will not grab onto anything.
And even just a little tweak is not going to hurt the hook.
No, and the beauty of this as well is the minute any kind of fish shows interest in it and goes over and does its thing that the Banjo's designed to do, this weed guard is going to pop right off.
Right, and now they're immediately hooked.
With barely any tension. So now you got yourself a fish.